I got to live.
Mm-hmm.
I owe something.
So what are you going to do with this?
Yeah. I remember really like saying it. It became very apparent, like the first funeral, which was Saturday. Pete Gansey and Bill Feen, the chief of department and the first deputy commissioner. They were the first funerals. And I don't know. Are you having Eddie Kilduff in, Paul? I don't know. He and I are friendly. We travel together all the time. So what happens at a department of funerals, you line up in front of the church in descending order of rank. And we went to the funeral, and so we're walking down where we would kind of normally be fitting into the rank, and we keep walking down to where we should be fitting into the rank, and then we realize that we're in the front of the church where everybody else, and we said, now this is different. We're them. Mm-hmm. And that was the first realization that maybe we were going to have to do jobs that we hadn't thought about. And that's kind of when I said, well, okay, I'm going to do whatever they ask me to do as best I can. But that was an eye-opener to realize, because we lost so much of the senior staff, that they were holes to fill, and things were going to be different. We knew that like right away.
You made a number of comments about things you do in terms of counseling and making it available. Anything else about talking about mission changing? Your mission has changed again, right? So it's how to help a set of people, both through policy, but also the people who report to you and report to them through an extended period of time of recovery. Any reflections on that work? What a leader needs to do that work?
As I said before, be a good listener. Try to, when somebody's saying they need something, try to accommodate them if it's possible. If it's not, explain why. Try to understand that people are going to handle things differently. Not everybody's going to handle, just because you do something, work is good for you, okay, but maybe the other guy shouldn't be here. Try to understand that. Organizationally, I thought we did a pretty good job of that. But again, you're going to ask people to do things that they're not really maybe ready to go yet. And you're going to say, okay, and this is the kind of stuff that happened. Okay, now you're the chief of safety. Now you're the chief of fire prevention. These were jobs they didn't have. They were just kind of moving up their career path, probably years removed from being asked to do that. So when that happens, that's different. And understand maybe the guy's not going to be up to snuff the first day, and you're going to have to give him a little time to kind of get into it. But I think they did a pretty good job of that as well. We were lucky, again, a lot of guys left the ego at the door and realized this was a different deal, that we were all going to be asked to do different jobs, and that we were all going to try to do what I said. Maybe they weren't as vocal to themselves about it, but in other words, you're going to get to ask to do things maybe you really don't care to do. The day I was asked to be the chief of fire prevention, the fellow who had the job got cancer. They needed to replace him. He was never coming back. He's still alive, everything's great, but he was never going to work again. The chief of department called me up. One of my co-workers, co-chief, said, don't answer the phone because you're going to get asked to be the chief of fire prevention this afternoon, which a lot of guys don't want that job. It's not a field job, So, guy calls me. I answered the phone anyway. I was playing golf. And he said, I need you to take over. Jimmy's sick, and I need you to go down there for a year or two. I know you don't want to go there, but I need you to go there. And I said to him, Pete, I'm not smart enough for that job. And he said, I know, but I need you to go anyway. He says, because you kind of get along with everybody, and that's really what I need right now. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, and I did it for a year or two, but 2 years actually. But you have to accept, in any crisis situation that you might be asked to do, something different, and maybe a little out of your comfort zone, but you should be willing to do that, I think. But also realize that everybody else could be hurting as well, and they're going to show it in different ways, So, get along with others, show a little compassion, try to give people as much as you can. I remember in the first couple of nights, guys were saying, we need this, this, and this, like they thought I had this all in my back pocket, and I said, that's days away, maybe even weeks away. This is what you have for tonight. This is what you have to work with. This is the best I can do. In a perfect world, that would all be there. It's not, and maybe it'll be there tomorrow, but it's not here tonight, and we still have to go to work. So, give them as much as you can. But,
I was going to ask you a couple closing questions here about reflections about some of this, but I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say about trauma or handling the trauma or the aftermath.
Before you do this, give me a second here.
So I just got a couple questions, and then Andre or Paul or something, and we'll close up.
From a soundscape perspective,
maybe not ideal.
Maybe not ideal. A couple screw guns I can deal with.
I think the transcription is going to have words and then the word bang in parentheses.
This is going to be challenging.
In case you didn't know, it was done in New York. It was done in New York.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
We're always building, say this.
There's certain poetry to it.
Getting back to the handling of a situation like that, there was a lot of questions on what, should there be anything formalized to address it? And I remember again talking to our chief medical officer, Dr. Kelly, and again, anecdotally, she said, we were a pretty well-adjusted group to begin with, and that really helped. Maybe we were used to seeing, sometime in your career you ran across a site that you probably didn't really want to see. Things like showing respect for, deceased people and things like that, but that's we always did that. She thought that we were going to handle it pretty good anyway. Now maybe somebody from a different background or in a different industry where, people are high strung, I don't know. Maybe that would be more difficult, or maybe they wouldn't handle it as well. Again, the big thing for us, we had a tremendous job to do ahead of us. We were sending people to do something they had really never done before for like the next 6 months, rotating them in and out, and still, put the 1,800 guys to work every day. So really, work was maybe an antidote for a lot of people, but for those that were having trouble, they realized they knew that they could go, see somebody. It's funny, the counselors, what we did was we basically set up a routine where guys from the counseling unit, and what we did is we brought in peer counselors, guys who weren't necessarily doing counseling as a job, but they were willing to help. And
were these firefighters or ex-firefighters?
Firefighters or ex sometimes. Mm-hmm. So the retired guys who wanted to get involved as well, that's a resource a lot of people ignore. They wanted to help. And now they couldn't do anything physically, but they would have done that too if we let them. That's the way they were.